My name is Mel Harrison. I'm doing a PhD at the University of Kent on the history of witchcraft. Thank you very much for having me. I think it's probably helpful if I just start by talking a little bit about why we're here tonight. As you probably know, this section of the fort has been closed to the public for years, and there's been a fantastic programme recently, the Command of the Heights, which has been restoring it over the last 18 months or so. And tonight we're here to celebrate the reopening of this section of the fort, including this amphitheatre. And my supervisor asked if I might want to come along and share some of my research with you.
I think the fact that it's been a space that has been here for the local population but hasn't necessarily always been completely as open as this for visitors is tremendously exciting. So I believe that the tickets sold out in a really a tiny short space of time, and I think that's largely because it's going to be a great show, but also because I think people genuinely want to come and see what's happening on this site. So
my PhD focuses on the history of witchcraft in Kent, in northern Kent specifically. And as you may know, a burial site was uncovered here on this part of the hillside, somewhere sort of just behind me. At the bottom you can see the woman's head was actually cut off and placed between her knees, and plus she was buried facing west. Now, normally graves at this time faced east, so that the body would face God at the moment of the resurrection. So that's obviously a sort of clear sign the community wanted to punish her in the afterlife for whatever reason.
Certainly women have always been ostracised, and they still are to a certain extent, and I think certain pockets of society as well. I think on the positive side, it's certainly a lot better than it used to be, than the 17th century lock hospital inmates or whatever it is, that awful time.
The Royal Navy Dockyard, the cathedral, the castle, the Royal Engineers, even Fort Amherst, all sort of big traditional masculine establishments with very few roles for women outside of prostitution. And in this environment, women became marginalised and seen as the other quite quickly. And when you look at who was being accused of being a witch in this area from 1600 onwards, they're all women who are a bit different from the rest of society and don't fit in.
When the chorus went for morning tea, one of the girls came back. "Catherine won't be coming in today, Mum," she said. "She's in the lock hospital." I was shocked. The Lock Hospital treats diseased women of ill repute. Now, Catherine was no prostitute. I was sure there had been some misunderstanding. I wrote a strongly worded letter requesting that she be released immediately. I eventually received a reply telling me that Catherine had been convicted of solicitous and lewd behaviour and sentenced to 9 months of treatment.
It is as bad as I'd feared.
What's it mean, priest?
Well, it's not easy to say at first where the causes may lie. However, there are several aspects to this case that give me grave concern.
Such as?
My friends, think on this. The rains have not ceased for the last 4 moons, and yet tonight, when I, a priest of God, speak with you, we have some respite.
What does that show?
Tell me, who exactly has lost crops?
The Ackers.
My father has.
Ethel and her son lost both their fields.
The Curseys.
And the Lees. That was bad.
The Lintons and the Northrops.
Northrops lost everything. Nothing left.
Most of us, priest, that's the truth.
And tell me, who has been left untouched?
I don't think there's any of us have all that we did. Maybe Summer.
Oh, that's because he bakes clouds, not farms.
That's true.
Ephra. She's not lost much.
How can you say that? She's lost her husband.
She's in mourn.
She still has coin.
Well, that's from when she was off trading with Jonas. Of course she still has coin.
Ephra! Yes, tell me, when did Ephra return?
Just after the rain started.
Was it?
No, it was just before.
It was. Yes, it was, exactly. With this play, I think it can be a bit current because my character is almost a Donald Trump style of character, as in he would allow the crowd to simmer and point the finger without necessarily knowing the reason, the who, what, where, why. That was what witch hunts are all about. If something went wrong, there's a finger to point at, and I think that can be today's current situation. You can blame something in order of a scapegoat almost, and I feel like that's what my character portrays. He's here to point the finger and say everything's okay.
What should we do?
We should act as we see fit. As a village who knows Christ and fears God.
Egil Rickus, you don't know this
He
girl.
is a man of God.
Yes.
He is. Sent from the Pope to guide us.
Guide us, priest!
Yes, it is true. As you say, I was sent from Canterbury by request of our king to show you the light as it was shown to the disciples and save you from the false prophets who went before.
Help us, priest.
We should find Ephra and ask her to explain.
In a word in a filthy shack, fingernails all cracked and black, boiling breath breathing on your back. Oh, she waits in the dark in a filthy lair, creepy spiders in her cold black hair. I heard a sound, what's where? Do you see her shadow? Do you see her there? Our parents always say we must all be very good. We all must stay away from the woman in the woods.
Ephra, we have summoned you here to question you about your knowledge of God
And the rains.
and of things dark that may yet be shown to man.
Witch! Cast her out!
Townspeople, we must allow her to speak. Ephra, you came to the village and the rains began that very night. What say you?
About the rains, I don't understand.
Ephra, it has rained most moons for the last 4. That is not natural. It is not natural. And you must tell us how it was you came to have power over the very heavens.
What are you saying? I have no power.
Oh, Ephra, it is plain to see.
How can I control the rains?
Ephra, I ask you now to come to God and confess the truth.
I speak the truth. I love God. I
Cast
love God.
out the devil!
I don't think it's ever completely going to go away. Women are always going to be treated in some ways as second class. It's not right that they should be, but I don't think it'll ever completely change. I mean, it's an awful lot better than it used to be. When you look back at what used to happen, it was pretty terrible. But I still don't think that thing about being a woman has completely gone away, and we still are, to some extent, the second-class citizens and have to fight for anything we want.
Reality raps on the window of the now fragile house I built for them. Houses become homes, made by good women. I don't want to be a good woman. I wanted to be great, to achieve more than just before, and not be judged for it. They told me I could achieve anything, to follow my dreams, but following my dreams has taken me down a rabbit hole, not up between the stars. I have mud under my fingers and twigs in my hair. Not ladylike at all. Reality has it. My picture was painted the very first time they said,
"It's a precious little girl."
So I'm Nicola Blackwell and I'm one of the actors in the piece. I play two characters. One of them is a kind of modern day coder and the other character is her granny.
And I realised that basically Granny had made a tape for each year of her working life, like maybe 40 or 50 tapes. She's just that kind of woman. She wanted to have everything recorded and in order before she died.
We got in probably about 2 months ago and then we did a load of research about programming, which is quite interesting because there isn't really a lot of info out there, and that's sort of what we based the piece on. So there's this sort of repetitive theme in the text about there being more gaps than knowledge, and that is a kind of metaphor, if you like, for the fact that there isn't a lot of info about female computer programmers, and there should be, because women have had a huge role in the development of the computer.
So, Granny is quite a strong personality, and some of the tapes are quite entertaining. She had a brilliant mind. She's pretty much gone now. I still go and visit her in the home, but I'm not really sure she knows who I am, to be honest. She still has the same smile, so I still keep going, but you know, just not that often.
No, it is factually accurate. The first ever computer program was written by a woman, Ada Lovelace. They didn't get us in to do the programming. We began as exchange operators because there weren't any men, they were all fighting. But it soon became clear we could do the mathematics too. Complex systems, of course. Bletchley, so on.
No one raised an eyebrow. Not to me, they didn't. In fact, at the time, it was actually seen as women's work. But there were some extraordinary people working in the field. Grace Hopper, she invented COBOL, still in use today. Ida Rose, Kathleen Johnson, Hedy Lamarr invented bloody Bluetooth.
My name's Bunny. I'm an actor and I auditioned for the show. They were looking for somebody to play the army wife. That was kind of all that they knew about the character. Modern day army wife who'd been based at Brompton Barracks. I wrote a little piece to do in the audition. As I'm quite keen on getting LGBT stories in wherever I can, so I kind of tweaked it so that her marriage to a soldier at the army had ended because the character had fallen in love with a woman, basically. And that's what the piece is about, really. You know, the best thing about being with her is I don't have to try. I don't have to be anything. I think when I met her, I hadn't realised how much I'd been pretending, like with Dave and with the wives, with the kids even. But now I'm just me.
This innocent whirlwind, where we drafted the blueprints of the person we wanted to be.
Is everyone ready for the family photo?
3, 2, 1, smile.
We sit at the foot of those we admire who shows pictures of the day they got married.
You know, I remember Margaret Thatcher saying there are children growing up who believe they have an inalienable right to be gay. And she wasn't up for that. But that's how it was. And being in the army, being in any little self-contained community, you know, it just feeds that mindset, that dislike of anybody a little bit different.
I warn you, I cannot be held responsible for the actions of this crowd. For the love of God, speak the truth and shame the devil! I can do no more.
I saw with the devil! Devil's
Of the sin of witchcraft! Take her hence from here, and let the law of this land prevail!
Regal wreckers! Priest! I say before God and kin I am no witch! Your vision is blinded! You do not speak for God!
Oh, take her hence!
I will not sleep until I treat his head! I cry
Theatre allows us to live 1,000 different lives. On stage, we applaud a beautiful tragedy. Yet, when we step outside, our eyes are often closed to the real misfortune. We live in a time of gaiety and pleasure. We see a show, we dine with friends. But there is a price to be paid for our easy life by those whose stories we seldom hear.